Correct.
Okay, all right. So, again, so what brings you out here today?
Well, I was coming out here to...
Glasses off. This is off. This is off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. There was, you know, nothing that was going to be sexual involved because I'm not like that, you know.
Dude, that is such a crazy clip out of context. Like, imagine if you met some dude at the grocery store and you're like, yo, what are you doing today? And he's like, oh, I'm just getting a box of donuts. Nothing sexual, though. It's not like I'm going to use them like a fleshlight or anything crazy like that. You know, I'm just going to eat them like a normal fucking donut. So, if you don't know, EDP445, this specimen, this man you're seeing right here, is one of the few prestigious individuals that were actually able to get Chris Hansen. Hilariously enough, he does a terrible job at it, and the reason why I say he does a terrible job at it is because if you ever watch To Catch a Predator, there's some crazy, like, explaining motherfuckers that go on To Catch a Predator. Just to give you context, just to give you a little bit of context, some dude on To Catch a Predator showed up without a shirt, without any pants on, naked, and this guy actually got out without getting arrested. Like, I'm not even bullshitting you. Like, he just kept explaining it away. He's like, you know, I'm going to get help. I swear to God. And this was early on in the show when they didn't have the police. To be honest, though, I think that although EDP445 got caught in 4K, this dude got caught in 8K. Because hilariously enough, they let this guy leave and he didn't get arrested. And then about, I don't know, maybe like a week or so later, they actually met him again doing the same exact thing at McDonald's, which is hilarious. But ironically enough, he never got arrested because the police weren't there. So what's funny about the EDP445 situation is that it's very similar to early Chris Hansen in the way that there's no police, you know what I mean? There's no real form of authority or figure. You know, you don't have Dog the Bounty Hunter posted up, ready with the bear mace. It's just a real amateur operation. And the reason why I even mention this is because it's been almost a year. It's been about, I don't know, since April of last year, since EDP445 got completely and utterly gutted and pretty much, like, he got as caught as you possibly can be. Because as you saw, he starts off saying that he wants a cupcake, he's hungry. And then somewhere along the lines, he realizes that his charisma, charm, and shitty explanations aren't going to work out, and he actually says this in the middle of the confrontation.
I wanted to ask. Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Is my life over?
That's up to you. It's up to you to determine.
Honestly.
Dude, in the middle of him getting caught, he just has an existential crisis. He's like, is my life over right now? I really never thought about this. And I guess this is a fair question from EDP's perspective, because the dude pretty much was at the top of the world. I mean, he's pretty much like a staple in Philadelphia, which isn't saying much. I mean, other than Rocky, what the fuck do they have going on? But he was like super duper popular. He actually had his video when the Eagles won go in the Super Bowl commercial because he was such a gigantic Eagles fan. And I ain't gonna lie, yo, listen, I can't lie to you. Like, I watched this video when the Eagles won. I'm not an Eagles fan, but this shit was like charismatic. It was beautiful. And much like a lot of people who watch EDP, they kind of feel bad for the guy, or not so much feel bad for him, but it's kind of disappointing to see that someone had entertaining videos such as him blowing up Chipotle end up being a complete and utter scumbag, because in this video, this 50-minute video, he basically gets caught being a creep. He gets caught being pretty much the closest thing to a pedophile, where he shows up, he's like, yo, listen, I've been talking to this individual online that I think is under the age, and, you know, I've done some weird texts. Like, for some reason, like, his like sweet talk game is ridiculous, because in one of the fucking texts, he actually sent a picture of his giant shit and was like, damn, I had a big shit. Which, you know, I'm not gay, but I saw that and I was flustered. I was like, this is a little bit too charming for me. So he had some weird encounters. He had some weird shit. And if you watch this entire video, it's basically him, like he literally needs a fucking lawyer. Like, he sat here for 50 minutes basically admitting to everything. Like, if these motherfuckers said, like, you were in on the Kennedy assassination, right? You were part of that. And this motherfucker just looks at him and goes, correct. Yeah, correct.
The intent is right when you showed up here. That's intent.
Right.
Showed up.
Correct. Right. Like, he's just admitting to everything. He's like, correct. Yeah, you're right. 100%. And eventually, if you watch this video, he gets to the end, and he pretty much has a mental breakdown. He basically has a moment of clarity where he thinks these people are going to call the police.
You're here to meet a 13-year-old.
Solicited photos. There's somebody here.
Are you really doing this?
Yes. Okay, it's...
And this is pretty much the moment where, like EDP was just caught out, like he had no excuses, he had nothing really to say. Oddly enough, he sat there for 50 minutes getting roasted and thinking that like at the end the video wouldn't go up, or at the end these people just let him go, or at the end he would somehow just get out of this. But almost a year later, and EDP has basically been continually cooked on a daily basis. He lost his YouTube channel. He lost pretty much every social media that's ever existed. And recently a video that's been uploaded has basically explained that since this event happened, he pretty much can't even hold a job.
EDP445 has been fired from 3 different jobs over the last couple of weeks as a result of people exposing his employment to TikTok. He's apparently
And a lot of people, believe it or not, in the comment section, there's some good commentary going on. A lot of people questioning if these people, meaning these people on the internet, are basically fit or really the arbiters of law to basically go through and quote-unquote cancel him to the point where he can't have a job, he can't live in certain places. Like there's some dude in this video where he literally found out that EDP was like on some motel or some shit. Like I don't even know how you figure that shit out. A little creepy on that end. And he basically went there and told the dudes that like they gotta get this motherfucker out. Like, he's a danger.
Be more than happy to let them know. Thank you very much.
EDP's detractors.
They just thank you very much. Like, since when have you ever gone to a motel and be like, there's a serial killer here, you need to get the police? Thank you very much. I'll talk to you in a moment. So there's been a lot of people who have been going around harassing EDP, basically saying that, you know, he's a piece of garbage, he deserves it. And, you know, that's up for debate. The reason why I say that's up for debate is because there's a lot of different things that are at play here, right? I think the biggest issue from all of this, even when this started, is the idea that this is mostly done for clout. Like, really, like, people don't really care about EDP being a creep on the internet. And a lot of people actually did bring that point up in the comment section of the video as well, because there's a lot of different people on YouTube. Like, YouTube is almost like Hollywood, where there's a bunch of creepy-ass people. Like, a lot of people were bringing up Mini Lad, a lot of people bring up James Charles, which is hilarious. And basically saying that they caught out being creeps, no one cared, they had better PR, and they basically shut up and it went away. And that's true, because EDP, since last year, has basically been a buzz topic. People talk about him, they like it, and it's something entertaining. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this video, when this video was uploaded, I did not click this shit at the speed of sound. Like, this was a fucking fast click and a fast watch. But even in this video, he admits and says that there's really no real new information. Like, literally, if you watch this video, it's probably one of the greatest fucking videos ever, because he basically explains the situation and no new information is garnered. Like, there's no new info. It's basically people saying that EDP went to jail, but in reality, there's no public record, there's no proof. And even his own quote-unquote friend, who, ironically, the guy even mentions that he gets no views unless he talks about EDP, says that he got a phone call from the prison, says that he was in there, but if you look at the public record, he's not. So obviously he's fucking lying. I mean, obviously correctional officers, they take their data integrity very seriously, and they would never make a mistake. But again, a lot of this kind of chastising, a lot of this roasting, a lot of this pretty much harassment, because like, dude can't even... What was hilarious is that, I don't know if this is true, but someone said he tried to get a job at Chuck E. Cheese, which is absolutely positively insane. Like, that's nuts. Like, if this dude could fit in the Chucky outfit, that's crazy already, right? But it pretty much started and it's continuing based off of clout. And what I mean by that is this individual right here, my man Bear Grylls, aka that one dude who died from silicone injections, he basically in this video will repeatedly make jokes and he'll do different things that are kind of cringy. I mean, even in this video, he actually goes on to say like...
Oh, okay, so you should title a video, instead of, you know, your video almost threw hands with a 13-year-old, you should title your video almost with a 13-year-old. I think that'll get a lot of hits, EDP.
I think so.
So, obviously that's hilarious. You know, other than EDP getting caught being a creep, the fact that this guy could get his punchlines in there is great. And actually, if you look at this video uploaded by Penguins, he basically explains that this guy's basically a clout chaser. And even when this guy made this video of quote-unquote exposing EDP, he did not upload the video until he got X amount of subscribers and X amount of watch time on the channel so he could monetize it, because he knew it was going to be a banger. He knew he was going to get a lot of fucking views. He was going to be living large. And what makes me so happy is the fact that YouTube removed that video. YouTube yeeted that video, and this guy literally just lost all profit from it, which is hilarious, because like someone who in the video, he's like, you know, we want to protect kids. We don't want you talking to kids. We don't want you fucking with kids. And then he's like, all right, guys, listen. If you want to save the children, watch this video, subscribe, and then I will drop the fucking EDP video. That's like when Donald Trump said, I'll give the stimulus after I get reelected. No, I need that shit now. Drop the info now. Drop the stimmy now, right? So it started with clout. It started with, oh my God, guys, subscribe, watch, view. And it kind of continued in that because all these different people who claim to be looking out for EDP, they're like, oh, you know, we want to make sure that EDP never gets a job again. We want to make sure that he never has a fucking... Dude, they kicked him out of his apartment, which is hilarious. And what, dude, one of the funniest fucking comments I saw on the video that legit had me rolling was some dude basically explaining, like, questioning, like, how is EDP broke? Because apparently EDP's like living out of a car. Like, at this point, he's basically... he's literally broke. Like, he has no money some way, somehow. And then I saw this comment, bro, this shit had me dead. This dude said, this is why I think financial literacy should be taught more. Like, he watched his whole video, and this is what he got out of it, which is hilarious. Because EDP did have a lot of money. He probably had, you know, he probably had a couple $100,000 over his time on YouTube. He somehow, some way managed to buy 2 cars and still live in an apartment. That's goals. Like, the fact that you don't have a mortgage, but you got 2 car payments, that's fucking goals, right? So the thing is with this video, it's somewhat of a gray area. And the reason why I say it's somewhat of a gray area is because I feel like most of the people that are harassing EDP just do it for clout. A lot of people said, like, he's an easy target. He's built like a fucking muffin. People just want to make fun of him. It gets a lot of views. People want to talk about it. I mean, if you upload a video mentioning EDP and you get 2 million views, obviously you're going to be like, oh man, we really need to look into this. And I think it's, ironically enough, very similar to the whole Richard phenomenon with Wings of Redemption, where Wings of Redemption has a bunch of trolls that follow him and like make fun of him, and it's fucking hilarious. But they somehow try to make it a moral thing where they're like, oh, he was racist, or oh, he's built like a submarine sandwich and we want to make fun of him so he loses weight. Like, there's some like clarification as to why they want to ruin his life. Similar with EDP, he basically goes through and, you know, he's trying to drive for Uber, he's trying to drive for Lyft, and then people are like, LOL, this guy's a fucking pedo, allegedly. And here's the thing, too. When it comes to the law, when it comes to the statute, I know I sound like a stan right now. Like, I really don't care in terms of, like, if EDP goes to jail or EDP doesn't go to jail. But this whole, like, weird, like, is he going to jail? Is he not going to jail? He probably isn't going to go to jail just because of the fact that there was no police on the premises when this whole thing happened. So for context, when they had this video occur, it was just 3 dudes. This dude looked like he's straight out of a fucking ISIS video. I don't know what he's doing there. And they were just here in an alleyway, in the middle. It looks like the fucking Los Santos alleyway. And there was no police. They called the police at the end as like a last second, like, oh my God, look, we're trying to make a difference. We're trying to do something. But it wasn't like a sting operation or anything like that. And it basically was similar to early To Catch a Predator, where people just left and they were like, all right, it is what it is. But the thing is, in terms of To Catch a Predator and even this EDP situation, is that it was an engineered situation. Like, EDP even says in the text messages, he's like, oh man, I wish you wouldn't talk to me. I wish you would leave me alone. Things of that nature. So it seemed like he was reluctant to do it. He knew it was illegal. But eventually he just gave in and showed up and tried to get a cupcake and played off for, 50 minutes. So the reason I even mention that is that To Catch a Predator, the show no longer exists because some dude killed himself. Like, he just was like, my life is over, I'm going to kill myself. Which is kind of funny considering that there's so many episodes To Catch a Predator, and I literally never remember who the fuck the people are. Like, I only remember the great episodes where, like, the dude showed up naked and tried to explain it away. Like, I don't know this dude's name. I don't remember it. This was years ago. Like, this guy probably works at McDonald's now. He wears the fucking Ronald McDonald suit. And he's probably living a good life. So, that dude has killed himself. Low-key took an out because no one even fucking remembers, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that this is an engineered situation. This is kind of like a fucking Minority Report situation where you're catching someone for something that they didn't do, but they would do. It's like they didn't do it, but they might do it, possibly do it. And even when To Catch a Predator did it, the only reason it stuck is because the police had that arbitrage. They basically had that authority to set it up and then catch people. But when you have a situation where it's just amateurs walking around making hilarious jokes and just basically trying to get clout and at the same time bother the police, it's not legally binding. Like, the police aren't going to look at this necessarily and be like, oh my God, we need to get this guy. It's like whole convoluted shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real victim, so to say, as an actual person. Now, EDP, he probably could have gotten arrested if the police were there, but there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. It's been a fucking year, and the dude's walking around, and he's still free because the police are probably like, what the fuck are we, like, what are we supposed to do, watch a YouTube video and they get the prosecutor in on this and be like, yo, skip to 44, first of all, this video is too long, skip to 44 minutes, 40 seconds, see how he clasps his hands and does like a fucking, a straight up prayer emoji, like, if that ain't guilty, I don't know what is. That's, honestly though, I would show the court that right there, if this shit went to court, I'd go, yo, look, he started off with a dap, ended with the back. All right, that's all I'm saying. But really, I think that one thing to take into consideration is, seriously, the internet is cancer. Like, the internet literally doesn't know what to do when it comes to anything. This is not a legal entity. This is not something that really cares about facts or cares about actions. Like, the people doing this is a mob mentality. The people who engineered this did it for clout. And I think a good example of this would be this dude, Pro Jared, who had some people on Twitter somehow, quote-unquote, ratioed him, where they were like, oh, I talked to Pro Jared, I'm actually under the age. And then people just jumped on, they're like, oh my god, Pro Jared's a piece of shit. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I was like, yo, originally I'm like, yo, ooh, another YouTuber who's in his 30s that plays video games getting caught out there. That's what I'm thinking. Already I'm thinking this guy fits the stereotype, right? But if you go through this, another 45-minute video, he actually explains that the people were clout chasing. Surprise, surprise. He didn't do those things. There's proof to say that these people were just going out there trying to get views, which is hilarious because, like, I have no idea how, like, people have no idea who the fuck this guy is, but then see, like, one tweet and they're like, all right, get the pitchforks, get ready, here we go. But to say this, I only bring this up to say that the internet doesn't always have the best intentions. If you watch this EDP445 video, he basically got caught in 4K. That's the biggest damnation of EDP. Like, I don't know who the fuck this guy, like, I don't know who, like, told him to go there. I don't know if it was just his inner conscience or his own stupidity. But the fact that he went there and did not turn around after saying, I'm going to get a cupcake, sat there for 50 minutes, cried, and then got in his car and left, like, it's pretty damning. Like, pretty much everyone who watches him are like, all right, there's pretty much no shadow of a doubt that this guy's a piece of shit. Question is, at what point are you going to stop? At what point can this guy have a job? At what point can this guy, dude, I'm not joking. This guy got caught twice by Chris Hansen and he never got arrested. Like, if this dude can get caught twice by Chris Hansen and still chill and be part of society, I think that this fucking gigantic muffin should go to therapy or some shit. Like, prove that he's trying to change, and then maybe he can keep a job at Starbucks. I mean, personally, this shit is pretty funny, but at the same time, there's a lot of people looking at this and they're like white knighting. They're like, we're never going to let him have a job. We're never going to let him live. And it's like, dude, like, who the fuck are you? Like, you're not the fucking judge, jury, executioner. Like, you don't have that authority. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I mean, as long as it's not illegal. But at the same time, these individuals are basically going through the motions of, like, harassing someone, getting him out of a job, getting him out of a house, getting him out of his fucking comfort zone, and basically pushing him to the edge. And honestly, dude, EDP got hella guns. I know that for a fact. This dude is loaded to the teeth with guns. If I was this fucking ginger bear dude, I would be shook. I would be hiding my address, making sure this motherfucker never pulls up. Because I tell you right now, bro, this dude will definitely pull a Wings Redemption where he's like, I'm going to kill myself, but before that, I'm going to get you. So at the end of the day, EDP445, I used to watch his content. I used to like it. Pretty much, he pretty much ruined it himself. Like, he nuked his own reputation. He's really done nothing to try to fix it. I mean, one of the biggest L's he took is immediately after this, he tried to save face and pretend like nothing happened and be like, oh, all these losers want to cancel me. It's like, yo, bro, listen, you got fucking exposed to, like, fuck 4K. You got exposed in fucking 64K resolution. So many bits and bytes, I could not even understand it completely. So in no way am I saying that EDP is right. But at the same time, like, am I really going to look at a fucking fat leprechaun and listen to him and think that he's fucking the arbiter of justice when he only did this for views and he only did this for clout? And similarly, so a lot of people that continue to do this and a lot of the people who are, like, trying to keep the ball rolling are basically doing it for their own profit. You know, it's basically like a show at this point. Like, it's not important that this guy gets help. It's not important that this guy makes anything different. It's just for them, they're hoping, especially this dude, this was hilarious. Like, the fact that this guy, like, sunned him in this video is like he gets no views unless he talks about him. It's hilarious and true because, like, no one cares about it unless it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people are interested in the story. They're wondering if this dude's going to ever go to jail because he basically pulled up in a car and left after the video. But in the end, I think EDP is not going to go to jail. I think that EDP eventually is going to find some job somewhere. Probably 5 years from now, he'll come back, say he went to therapy. Maybe if he's smart, he'll lose weight, and that'll, like, give the illusion of change. And maybe his fans will let him back in. At the very least, I think he should be able to get a job as the fucking cheerleader for the Eagles. I mean, they need it. They haven't won a Super Bowl since. So, you know, there's a lot of different things at play here. But at the end of the day, one thing to take away is you better stay the fuck away from cupcakes because they make a grown man do some weird shit.
At the end of every single video, make sure you ask people to rate and subscribe to your content. It makes them feel like they're involved even though they're really not. And most importantly, make sure they comment on every single video. If you have to, disguise it. You know, call it something like the question of the day. And really make them think you're gonna really read it when you really don't have to. Ha ha ha!